ship, Virginia City, here we come. I am so excited about this. I bet he's going to take Mr. Satan. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. All packed and ready to go. Oh, this is going to be so much fun. Where is he? Where? Asmodeus, have you seen him? Oh, he better not have taken the incognito car. He did take the undercover car, didn't he? Okay, Asmodeus, let's hitchhike it. Virginia City? Hello? Hello? Virginia City? Anybody going to Virginia City? No, there's no cars out here. Oh, goodness. Wait. Maybe here's one. Virginia City, Virginia City. No, they didn't even see us. Okay. Wow, Asmodeus, we have to think this out a little bit better. Let's think on this one. Well, we're getting nowhere fast. Anybody got a quarter? I just can't believe it. I certainly was hoping that we would be able to go to Virginia City, and nothing seems to be working. Oh, right. Hey, that's a great idea. We have semi-infernal powers. Are you ready, Asmodeus? 1, 2, 3. Here we go! We made it to Virginia City! Hello everybody, we are in Virginia City, Nevada, and I'm here with my beautiful friend Patti Negri.
Hi everybody, welcome!
And that beautiful Belle right over there.
This is Belle, the hunter. She's 105 now. She's very haunted. You will see her moods change, you will see her eyes change. She doesn't create energy, she's not evil. She's pretty sweet. She does like a lot of attention though. She likes a lot of attention. So,
Me too.
They have a beautiful
psychic medium and a good witch. I watched way too much Wizard of Oz when I was a kid. I was a good witch. Realized I didn't know dead people, but I stuffed, towels into the doors in the hallway with no lights and called it Marilyn Monroe or John Kennedy and any famous person that a 7 or 8-year-old knows.
Heretic, witch, opposer of the faith, accuser of the brethren. We were talking about demons. I am a Satanist. I am out and proud as a Satanist. Are you scared yet? So, I wake up one morning and this man is standing right over my bed and he's screaming, "What are you doing in here?" And I was, okay, I'm coming, Elizabeth. I did a seance and I invited some friends and we're all gathered around in my tower room and it's all quiet and everyone is dressed in Victorian clothing and it's all sort of spooky, right? Because I like that. So here we are and the board moves. They have their fingers on the planchette and I'm going to tell you, this is what I saw. I don't know if it was a male or female hand, but I saw a knife running underwater and I saw blood everywhere. He turned pale. Talk about investigating a haunted location with a psychic, with a medium. But I was teased relentlessly growing up as that weird possibly gay, strange child who's maybe a member of the Addams family. Thank you for joining me here at ParaCon in Virginia City, Nevada. Thank you so much, and boys, I'll see you back at home. I'm gonna take a shortcut. Hello and welcome back to The Gentleman Psychic. This is not one of our typical episodes. This is not something we normally do. In fact, we just got back from Paranormal Con in Virginia City, and it is really phenomenal. I'm here with Lady Alexandra. For those of you who have emailed me on the website, this is the lovely lady that you speak to. She is the one that makes all of the reservations. She is the one that keeps me in check. So, Lady Alexandra, what was your favorite part about Virginia City?
Well, personally, I really liked the Mackey Mansion. It was very active and very fun. And one of the coolest things to me is that the people who run the museum actually live there as well. So they take very good care of it. And you see that a lot in Virginia City, where there's families who have grown up there who are very careful about their history, and it was really, really fun. I also enjoyed the mine tour. We had a wonderful tour guide.
He was fabulous. What was his name? I can't remember.
He said he was going to be publishing as... It was Daniel, but he was going to be publishing in the future as D.T. Burns, I believe.
Yes, I think so.
U of R.
Oh, he was really brilliant. So well done. Took us down under there. Actually, I had an encounter with a miner under there. And when I went down, and there was this face that I saw, and he had dirt all on him, but he had these wild eyes, and he had this weird laugh too.
And then our tour guide, we tell the tour guide this afterwards, and he's like, people have said that before, and they think that it's this. So the story goes that apparently there was this guy who was selling dynamite, and in order to try to convince people that dynamite was safe, because dynamite it was a really new thing. Before that, they had been using gunpowder. In order to try to convince people that dynamite was safe, he was sleeping on dynamite before he sold it.
But he had a whole bunch of monkeys, and the monkey learned to
operate. The monkey, I think he only had one monkey, but the monkey learned how to operate the blast caps, and use your imagination.
So yeah, that was my favorite part. I have to admit, we were at the old Washoe Club.
Oh, I love that.
It was so much fun. And we walk in, and it's the saloon portion the whole building has probably seen better days. But we go in, and there are people who are taking their ghost experience very, very seriously. And that's fine if that's your approach. They come in there, who are you? And where are you from? And did you die? You know you're dead, all of this. And so we went into this one room on the third floor, and I just started singing Big Spender. And we were with Patti Negri, and somehow there was an app, and I have to remember which one it was, but there was an app.
Necrocon or something?
I think so. I'll find out for you. But there was this app that sort of, it doesn't have any words, it doesn't have any, it's just sort of random.
It's sort of like a ghost box, if you're familiar with the concept of a ghost box, where it'll pick up different frequencies and make random sounds. That's
random words.
For people to use, yes.
So I started singing Big Spender, which was, mind you, about 100 years too late, but we started getting a lot of activity in there. It turns out, from what the ghost box was picking up, there was a woman that was, she was a soil dove, as they used to say in the Old West. And she and I had fun. We had a conversation. It was just sort of like, it came up that her name was Fern, and I mean that's a proper name for the time. But she had fun, and she was rather rambunctious. So I really enjoyed. I loved the Washoe Club.
Okay, but if we're going to talk about the Washoe Club, we have to talk about what you pulled in the crypt.
Oh, that was a good one.
So understand that in the very back of the Washoe Club, there is what we actually think was probably just cold storage. It was a building, and it had a section built into the wall. It was all stone. It's a lot cooler in there. And the story goes that's the crypt where they would put the dead bodies back when, it was cold in the winter and they couldn't break ground to bury them. the hole in the story is that this is a town that was full of miners, so they knew how to get into the ground.
They know how to do that.
So while there's energy throughout the Washoe Club, it didn't really feel like, ooh, dead bodies stored here energy. However, we're all in the crypt, and I have the privilege of being on one side of the door. He happens to be on the other side of the door. And I see this almost like it's in slow motion. Everybody's in the crypt, everybody's being serious, they've got their recorders out, everyone's talking and looking for spiritual activity. And I hear this girl come up, and she's going, hey, come on, this is where they stored the dead bodies. And she opens the door, and this fool puts his head right there. And so she's like, this is where they stored the dead bodies.
And I was wearing my top hat, so I already looked like I was from another time period.
You always look like you're from another time period.
Yeah, that was fun. Also, when we held the convention at the Bonanza because of COVID concerns, and there's Patti Negri did a seance, and she says, oh, there's a grumpy spirit here. He's really grumpy. I don't really like him. We're not going to talk to him yet. And then she comes along, and this is what I leaned over to Lady Alexandra and I went, this one. So she says there's an energy male, female, there's an energy Willie. They keep telling me Willie. And they were hanged. And I went, for some reason, I don't know why, but that's for me. So afterwards, I found out that there was a transgender prostitute that was found out and strangled across the street. And as far as Ms. Willie or Willie goes, Ms. Willie was the character that I played in Tangerine. So that was a little bit there. But the grumpy spirit that came in, that was connected to the area around the Bonanza. And
under the Bonanza.
And under. So afterwards, two of my new friends, Charlie and B, they came up and they said, well, that there was that energy that she was talking about, that grumpy spirit. I feel like that maybe you might know a little bit more. And I opened myself up and I said, yes, I do. Okay, so he is one of the founders of the place, and there's right under here, there's a room underneath, there's a room down there. And he spent a lot of time, because it was the midpoint between two places, and he had prostitutes, and he had ladies of the evening, and there was also, he had, there was a male, this is before I knew about Willie, but there was a male that he had under there, and they went, oh yeah, he was hanged across the street. He was a cross-dresser, and he was hanged across the street.
Amusingly, while he's being asked that, some of the staff of the Washoe Club have pulled me and two other girls, Nicole and, oh God, I'm so sorry, Yvonne, I think her name is?
Mm-hmm.
Yvonne, who's wonderful, both of them wonderful, pulled them down and took us into that space. So while he's getting asked that, they're walking through this space going, okay, something feels really sick, something feels really hot, something feels really almost like somebody got really, really drunk here and something went wrong. So we're actually getting this experience from two different directions, and then we connected on that later.
And when I go into a location, I don't research it, I don't look anything up, I open my mind and allow myself to feel what I feel. And so they said to me, Charlie and B, they said, oh, well, it turns out that there's this dark energy that is one of the founders that was here, and it was televised. They tried to drive him out into the desert, and they said, oh, be gone now, be gone into the desert. He didn't go, by the way, because why would he? He built the place, so why would he go? But I felt it. I felt the energy, and then he was sort of trying to be macho and tough, and sort of show his toughness, and he started pushing people over. There were 4 women that day that were shoved. They'd fallen. They'd hit their heads.
If you actually look on Richard-Lael's Patreon, we filmed the entirety of his speech. Patreon.com/The Gentleman's House, by the way. So we filmed that entire speech. Midway through his speech, you'll actually see where like somebody falls, and I even run over and check with camera in hand. So not because I'm trying to go, ooh, hey, cool thing, but because I was holding the camera.
Right.
But the bartender had fallen over, like, randomly, and nobody knew what had happened, and she was, like, on the ground. So
And
it
then
was really
she
kind of
had,
crazy.
didn't she say that she had someone call out sick that day, and then there were people who fell? It was really a strangeness.
Major shout out to the wonderful lady who runs the Bonanza. She has, I think she said 9 employees and 4 called out. Now that 4 employees seems like a lot for the Bonanza, but they're running the Bonanza. They're also running the barbecue place, and I think they're running another bar in the area, maybe the Delta. I don't know. But this wonderful human was running around, taking care of everything she could. She also had a new staff member that day, somebody who I think it was like their first or second day. So they were really great. They took really good care of us, despite all the insanity that happened.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? Also, I even though it seems like I didn't get to bring my boys, I did bring my boys to Virginia City, and they had fun, and they got to play with their friend Belle, the haunted doll. Patti has this beautiful 105-year-old haunted doll, and so they're very good friends, my boys and Ms. Bell. So that was fun. I did not get to take my boys on the train because we had discussed it, and then we went no, and then I went, wait, I should bring them, and then he's screaming at me. My friend the devil was saying, take me with you, take me with you, take me with you, and I went, no, I don't think so.
We thought we would have time. Richard-Lael had a reading booked on Sunday, which you can get that if he's in your area. You can contact him for a reading. And we thought we'd have time, and then it ended up he and somebody else booked him while he was there, and so we got 2 readings. But because of that, we had like 15 minutes to get from where he was to the train. Fortunately, I'd already got the tickets for that, but it was a bit of a rush. So the train was wonderful, by the way. If you get the chance, definitely check out that train.
It was decommissioned in 1937, I think. It was decommissioned in the 30s, in the late 30s, and then they sold off. But the last commemorative train ride, there was a young man of the age of 17 that was on that, and he and some of his friends got together. They bought piece by piece, plot by plot of land, I think 5 miles it goes. And then they restored it, and it took them 5 years to do. And they really, he started it really in the 70s, but it was, he loved it so much. He loved that history. And the trains are it's phenomenal. It really is phenomenal.
It's really amazing. And the tour guide was amazing. Everybody was.
I love the town of Virginia City. I mean, it's a little touristy sometimes, but it's
Yeehaw cowboy.
It's a little yeehaw cowboy. And I got to tell you this, for all of the yeehaw cowboys that go to Virginia City, it was a mining town. There weren't very many ranches. So you can go be a cowboy, I don't care. But if you want to be historically accurate, cowboys weren't really a thing in Virginia City.
Now, one of the things that was serious in Virginia City, so Virginia City for a while was bigger than San Francisco.
It's true, 30,000 people.
Yeah, it was a huge town. Because of the Silver Rush, they had the Bonanza Club, I misspoke there. The Washoe Club was a gentleman's club for really wealthy people.
Including the likes of Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain.
Mm-hmm. So it was a bustling metropolis.
They have an opera house.
City. They do.
It was also when they discovered silver, they didn't know that it was silver, and they were paving the streets for 10 years with silver.
So they found this place called Gold Hill that's just outside of town. And in mining for gold, they were getting this blue muck. And it was clogging their machinery, and it was getting on their pickaxes and their shovels, and they were just scooping it. And they eventually got to the point where they were like, what are we going to do with this blue muck? And it dries like a hard white almost. So they started paving the streets with it. 10 years later,
Silver
somebody finally tests it and finds out that it's a ridiculously high percentage of silver.
In fact, the silver mines within the city of Virginia City are taller at one point than some of the skyscrapers. That's a lot of silver.
Well, deeper
Than that, yeah.
And they had some major innovations there too. For instance, Virginia City for a while had some of the best cable in the world as far as
the elevators and the deepest shafts in the world.
And the framework to actually stabilize the mines, because they'll put the wood in the mines to make it's sort of like a box, and they have all these little squares, and that's what allows the mine to expand to be the size of a 6-story skyscraper. It's really cool.
I was really intrigued to find out that in Virginia City, the miners, it was so dangerous, they could only work for 15 minutes at a time. Because it was so dangerous, it was so deep, and it was so hot. 15 minutes up, drink, come down. 15 minutes back and forth, back and forth. And where most people in those days were making, as a miner, something like 50 cents a day, these people were making $4 an hour. Because it was so dangerous, and $4 an hour was like making $54 an hour in today's money. So they were that was really quite impressive. But even further still, the water in the area was poison. It was toxic, and so you could go in and get, for highway robbery, you could get for 50 cents some whiskey, that's a lot of money even then. But if you wanted to get a gallon of water, 1 gallon of water, it was $50. Like that's, so it's like 50. It was $4, which is like $50 today.
Yeah, the equivalent of. So, as our wonderful tour guide said, you're trying to take a hammer and a spike, hit that spike with this big sledgehammer, and the entire time the spike is kind of going like this.
Because you're drunk.
Because you're drunk.
And if you're drinking the water, don't drink the water. It's contaminated.
There was also, I can't remember her name. We'll put it in the link. We'll put it in the comments. There was a famous madam there.
Oh, yes. Boulay, I think her name was.
Thank you. But she was known as most loved and most hated woman in Virginia City, because when miners got sick, there was a huge incident where a lot of the miners got sick, and she was packing up her bags and going to miner to all their different homes and nursing them and caring for them and taking care of them. She was the madam of a brothel, so no respectable woman would associate with her. But as far as the miners, she saved many, many lives by doing this. When she died, and she was actually murdered, the supposed... it
was a Frenchman, they said, but he denied it the entire time, but he was hanged immediately. Yes. But I don't feel like he was the killer.
Psychic. When she did die, her death shut down the mines, because the entire crew, all the miners, were like, no, we're going to her funeral. And she actually had a parade of all of these mourners who were so concerned about her death. So that was really cool to me to learn about that as well.
Yeah, no, I love the city. It's really, if you get a chance to go to Virginia City ParaCon, it's in its 10th year. It was the 10th, now it's going into its 11th next year. But there are other paranormal conventions throughout, and I may or may not be there. Who knows? But
if you know of a paranormal convention and you want him there, hit us a call, shoot us an email.
Yeah, that would be great. You can find me at thegentlemanpsychic.com, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Clearly,
they're on YouTube.
I know. You can find us all under the Gentleman Psychic. Now, we have our boys here, and they're itching to talk. I think we should ask them if they had a good time. Let's bring them over. Let's see. You remember Asmodeus and my friend the devil. Now, is he all tangled up in there?
He's good.
So, my friend the devil, did you have a good time? Did you learn anything? Yeah, I learned you didn't take me to the train. Ha! Also, I learned I have infernal powers. Infernal power. Infernal power. Infernal power. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Take a look on our Patreon at The Gentleman's House. And until next time, my beauties, love you always.